The year was 1980. Disco was dying. Oil prices were rising. And Renault said, let's take our tiniest economy hatchback and turn it into a fire-spitting mid-engine rally monster. Enter the Renault 5 Turbo, a car so insane it makes modern hot hatches look like household appliances. This wasn't just a tuned-up city car. This was a Group B prototype in a neon shell, ready to heat gravel, scream through alpine passes, and scare the life out of its own driver. This is the story of how France went full Mad Max in a baguette-sized package. Welcome to Nobody Drives. If you're into cars, the latest tech innovations, the rich history of automotive engineering, and everything that's shaping the way we drive, you're in the right place. Before we dive in, make sure to hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss an episode about all things automotive, past, present, and future. Now, let's get into it. Before the Turbo, the Renault 5 was cute. A 3-door hatch, perfect for shopping runs and parallel parking in Paris. But rallying? Not even close. Until someone at Renault Sport said, what if we completely re-engineer the R5? Move the engine behind the driver, make it rear-wheel drive, and throw a turbo on it? And for reasons nobody truly understands, Renault's management said, we. So in 1980, the Renault 5 Turbo was born. Not front engine, not front-wheel drive, but a mid-engine, turbocharged, wide-bodied lunatic disguised as a hatchback. And it wasn't just for show. It was built for Group 4 rallying, later upgraded to Group B. This wasn't a case of add boost and pray. Renault rewrote the rulebook. Mid-engine layout, 1.4-liter Clé Enfant engine mounted behind the front seats. Turbocharged, a chunky Garrett T3 turbo helped push 160-plus horsepower in street trim, more in race spec. Rear-wheel drive, no traction control, just fearless driving and violent oversteer. Wide-track suspension, new subframes, new geometry. Nothing was carried over from the economy car. And the result? A 970-kilogram pocket rocket with a 0 to 100 kilometers per hour time under 7 seconds in 1980. That's Ferrari pace. In a box the size of a toaster. The Renault 5 Turbo made its rally debut in Monte Carlo in 1981 and immediately won. Yes, won. Driven by Jean Ragnotti, it humiliated the all-wheel drive competition on tight, twisty tarmac. It wasn't the most powerful, but it was agile, light, and fearless, like a French Jack Russell with a rocket strapped to its back. As Group B evolved, the 5 Turbo was pushed aside by the likes of Audi Quattro and Lancia Delta S4. But it never lost its cult status. There were multiple versions. Turbo 1, raw, stripped down, motorsport-ready Turbo 2, slightly more civilized, with parts borrowed from the regular R5 Maxi Turbo. The ultimate evolution, pushing 350-plus horsepower in full race trim. And if you're wondering how it handled, let's just say, if you weren't ready to dance, it would spin you like a record. Visually, the 5 Turbo looked like a hatchback on steroids. Flared arches wider than its own future sail scoops and vents in places where no hatch should have them, and a cabin that screamed French 80s, louder than a Daft Punk synth. But it wasn't just a car, it was a statement. It said, France can do crazy, and do it fast. Today, the Renault 5 Turbo is the holy grail of retro rally cars. Collectors pay 6 figures. YouTubers worship them. And no one remembers that it started as a humble shopping cart. The 5 Turbo ended production in 1986, but its influence didn't. You can see its DNA in the Clio V6, the mid-engine hot hatch obsession, the cult of crazy, lightweight turbo machines. And now, Renault is bringing back the Renault 5 as an EV. Cute, retro, and maybe even fast. But unless it has a turbo, rear drive, and a death wish, it'll never match the original's chaos. Because the Renault 5 Turbo wasn't built to save the world. It was built to scare it. If you loved this, dive into one of the most ridiculous rally machines ever made. Smash that like button. Tell us if you dare drive when subscribed to Nobody Drives for more off-the-wall automotive legends, because sometimes the best cars aren't sensible. They're psychotic.